Hey, it's Teapot, and I'm back in Leaves, and we left off with what I thought would be the ending, I think. I don't really remember, sorry. That wasn't so bad an explanation, actually. Better theory than most. Oh. Ah. But I still just couldn't let it pass. So I said, aren't you just splitting hairs? And in the first place, it's not as if I'm trying to act like an adult or anything like that. Nuh-uh, she retorted. Not splitting hairs at all. Just quoting from Little Lady Tuka's books of wise sayings. Hehe. This annoyed me. I stopped giggling like that, and stopped trying to act so cutesy too, idiot. Man, that's harsh, Tuka said slowly. She was starting to blush a bit by now, so the alcohol was starting to get to her. So Tomohiro, tell me, she said, slurring her words a bit. I waited. You, she continued after a bit, think I'm an idiot, don't ya? What? I asked, momentarily taken off guard. She gave me this tipsy glare and then said, I asked you. You think I'm an idiot, don't ya? What? You aren't? I retorted sardonically. She just glared back at me. Or am I wrong? I finished. Damn it, she roared suddenly. I guess your day of fucking judgment is here. I feel like I've read this a long time ago. Did I load the wrong save? Because if you don't take that back, I swear I'm gonna fucking hit you with this crucifix armbar of your life, okay? I gulped. I'd completely forgotten two things. First, she got drunk really easily. Okay, yeah, I read this before. Just a sec. Sorry about that. It was said it was the most recent save, but obviously it was not. Came back to my apartment, that whitewashed, sterile place, for the sake of burying the past and making ready for the future. One last time, for the sake of settling things once and for all, for the sake of leaving the place behind without a trace that I'd ever existed there, for the sake of my life together with Tuka. Matsuri, I said in surprise. I saw her in front of my door as I walked up the stairs. Amazement, shock, disgust, all of those things flashed through my mind when I saw her, but she seemed lost in thought and didn't notice me at first. Well, one thing was obvious, she was standing here because she no longer had a key to my place. Her copy was probably rusting away in the woods somewhere. She was sitting on the floor, head down, hugging her knees. I stood before her now. Is something wrong? I asked as neutrally as I could. There were so many things I wanted to tell her, so many more things I wanted to ask her, but not now. Not like this. Why? Matsuri murmured. She looked at me with some effort. Everything about her seemed changed. Where was that little ice queen now? To put it one way, the way she was looking at me now, it was like some great obsession central to her life had been wiped away. Though it was grandiose and pitiful, all at the same time. Or maybe I was the one who had changed. Maybe she saw that in me, and that's why things seemed so different. It was probably both, actually. Both of us had changed so much. Matsuri finally spoke again. My apologies for last time we met. I did something really unlike me, did I not? Yes, that was a really childish thing to do. My apologies again. I responded, taken slightly aback. Well, I guess everyone's got a moment like that. I thought I'd really disgusted you. I thought you'd never want to see me again, Matsuri went on. Oh, no worries, I replied. I'm being serious here, she retorted. So please, no need to soften the blow. As unsparing to herself as ever, huh? So I sighed. Fair enough. Yeah, to be honest, at the time I never wanted to see you again. I thought as much, she replied. But I wasn't particularly disgusted, you know. I finished. That is the lie, she murmured. You had to have at least felt a little disgust. I sighed again. Oh, calm down. It's not as if I'm proud of every little thing I've done in my life either, you know? Besides, you were pretty tempting. Tempting? Matsuri mouthed the word as if it were completely alien to her. She looked up at me with confusion. I just shot her a wary smile. Yeah, honestly, I answered her unspoken question. I really wanted to rape you. I really wanted you to rape me for a moment there. It really wouldn't be rape, then. Matsuri considered this for a moment, and then, I see. I went on. And I only ever felt like this. Felt like I'd never wanted to see you again at the very beginning, to be honest. Don't feel that way anymore. I wonder. See, when I saw you that day, I'd been wondering if the relationship we share, you, Tuka, and I, might be on its last legs. I didn't like that thought at all. Matsuri said nothing, so I continued. So when you came out on me like that, something inside me just went, yeah, this is the end then. And I just kind of ran with it, without ever stopping to think. That's all. I see. That's what he said haltingly. Haltingly. You have no idea how relieved I feel that. I gave her a slow nod, and then I smiled, and finally burst out laughing. I couldn't stop myself. I didn't want to stop myself. I'm so relieved. Matsuri said, joining in the laughter. She sounded so gentle. Our laughter bounced around the empty hall with its whitewashed walls. And it was awfully loud. And just right. So I turned to Matsuri and said, well, come on in then. But she just shook her head. Oh no, she responded. I have nothing more to say. I only came here to ask you that. My apologies for the intrusion. No, I was shaking my head too. Come on, can we quit it with these words of farewell? It's not as if this is goodbye forever or anything. She looked right at me. No, she demurred. This is goodbye forever. I'm heading off to walk my own path now, just as you are heading off to walk yours. Fine, be that way, I retorted. But even if you have nothing to say to me, I have a bunch of things to tell you, so why don't you come on in, take a seat. For old time's sake, you know? Can you do that? This is goodbye forever. When I'd heard that, something ran cold in my chest. I couldn't breathe. All my words escaped me. So even if it was only for a few minutes, I wanted to postpone the inevitable. Right now, that was my only wish in the world. Very well then, she replied. Matsuri got to her feet and dusted off her skirt, and she patiently waited for me to open the door. I dug in my pockets, found the key, inserted it into the lock, and twisted. The lock opened with a sharp clicking sound. Well, make yourself at home, I said, motioning her inside. Thank you for having me, she replied courteously. I walked into the living room before her, flicked on the air conditioning, and wiped the light film of dust off the chairs. It has been a long time, Matsuri murmured. Yeah, I responded after a moment. I guess it has. Matsuri sank down into her seat, as if the experience were something infinitely precious. And I just went on to the kitchen, as per usual. I opened the refrigerator. There was a bottle of oolong tea inside. I produced my 2 cups from the cupboard, filled them with ice. I poured the contents of the bottle into the cups, then brought the cups back out to the living room. Thank you, Matsuri intoned as she accepted her cup. No problem, I replied lightly. Then I sat across from her. I took a sip of the tea. It felt nice and chilly. Perfect, since the air conditioner hadn't really done much yet. I took a look out the window for a moment. I saw midsummer sunlight streaming through the forest canopy, touching the vegetation on the forest floor momentarily with fantastic light. Matsuri, I turned to her and began. I took another sip of my tea. Matsuri said nothing. She just stared straight into my eyes, waiting for me to speak my piece. Waiting because she probably already knew what I was about to say. So, I finished my sentence anyway. I've decided to go live with Tuka from now on. I see, she intoned in response. Well, hey, I said, trying to make light of the situation. Yeah, we've been essentially living together for all this time, but this is what we've decided to do. Together. Yes, and to be honest, Matsuri said flatly. Yeah? I asked. I'm truly jealous of her. Perhaps there is a little part of me that wishes a building would fall on her right now. No, it exists for certain, but for the most part. There was such pain on her face as she said this, and yet she sounded so loving. Congratulations, she said. She went on with a smile. Please, allow me to at least say that, even if it is just for show, even if I am being a hypocrite. For Tuka's sake, your sake and mine, I would like to remain in her memory and yours the strong poker-faced childhood friend you'd always known. Would that be okay? Oh, absolutely, I responded immediately. Thanks so much, Matsuri. She shook her head with a smile. Then she said, as austerely as ever, but it is a good thing that you picked Tuka and not some stranger. If you had, I think I would have to rape you after all, correct? Man, that's harsh, I laughed. No, that is the truth, she replied, laughing along with me. I gave her a huge grin. Yeah, I understand. Man, I'm impressed. We burst into laughter together. It felt like this was the first time in our lives that she and I were having an honest conversation with each other. I continued, keep that in mind for the future. There was this goofy grin plastered on my face, but inside, my heart was breaking. I could feel tears welling in my eyes. Why was it? Why did it have to be that we could finally speak heart to heart like this? Only on our day of forever farewell. We'd been together, the three of us, for over 10 years, right? All this time wasted. It just didn't seem fair. Why did we have to say goodbye to each other now, with such smiles on our faces? Had I been, for all this time, such an idiot, and such a coward, and such a poor specimen of a human being that it all had to come down to this? Matsuri, I said. She answered crisply. Yes? I cleared my throat. Would it be too much to ask for us to go on as the three of us, as before, without all this talk of farewell? That is impossible, she responded immediately. Just in case I didn't get it the first time, she repeated herself a moment later. And I'd known before I had even asked that this would be her answer. Yes, it was too much to ask, now that Tuka and I were beginning our life together. Yes, this had to be goodbye. Still, I had to ask. Had to ask because it felt so sad. Had to ask because I felt so empty inside. Had to ask because some part of me couldn't stand the prospect of never having these conversations with her ever again. But she was right. This was impossible. Even I could see that. So I mumbled. Sorry, that was a bad joke, wasn't it? Never mind. But when I looked at her, there were tears in her eyes for some reason. Tomohiro, she managed, her voice breaking up. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was all I could do. To sit there like an idiot and say, huh? To that gentle face. Abrupt music end. Wow, cell phone. Then my cell phone went off well before the meaning of Matsuri's words had really even begun to sink in. I looked over. Yes, it was there on top of the table. See, that's just it. Then what's the point of having a cell phone? Suddenly, Tuka's words of anger came to mind. At that moment, I decided that I'd carried that thing from now on. I wonder who it is, I said, half to myself. There weren't that many people who would ever call me. There were a few buddies from work, and there was Tuka, and finally Matsuri. And Matsuri was sitting right here with me. I got a bad feeling about this. I got up, went to the table, and picked up my cell. It was a Tuka Ichimura blinking on my front LCD. Tuka then. I hit the talk button. Hey, what's up? I asked. The other line was silent, save ambient noise. Hello? Anyone there? I said. I listened hard. What I heard horrified me. First, the rustling of clothes. Then something hard being dropped on the table. Then someone getting out of the bed and walking, and someone else gasping for breath. Hey, is anybody there? I said, again. Come on, answer me. Oh, look who it is, came in an all too familiar voice. For a moment, I couldn't say anything at all. This wasn't Tuka. This was her. Hikari, without a doubt. Why the hell do you have Tuka's cell phone? I yelled. She chuckled. Epic fail, dear. So boring. So bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie? I don't know how to say that. Bourgeois. You know this word? You're such a smart guy. I'll just let you figure it out, Just answer me, I shouted back. Boring, 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 she retorted brightly. Come on, boy, I expected better of you. Take a stab in the dark, won't you? Think with your brain rather than your cock for once. Maybe that'll help. Or not. What did you do to Tuka? I intoned, my voice hard and low. Ding, 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 she laughed. That's the right answer, yes, sir. And your prize is absolutely nothing. Yes, I did do something to her. And you know, Because you're more like me than you'd ever want to admit. Why, you bitch. My hands trembled. I could feel the plastic of my cell phone protesting. I was crushing it. Why you? I began. Answer me. Just what did you do to her? Oh, ho, ho. Hikari chortled heartily. Just the usual, my dear. Only a little more of a challenge, you know? Maybe too much, and, well, what we have here. What have we here? What did you say? I screamed into the phone. Here, Miss Ichimura, why don't you explain things to your boyfriend here? You're not bound or gagged. Though, maybe that would have been more fun. Anyway, go right ahead. Ooh, this will be so sweet. At first there was dead silence. Then there was a soft sound, the sound of the receiver being placed near Tuka's mouth. I came in an incoherent gasp. See, everything. Then Tuka, I managed. And then again that sound, this time back to Hikari, without no doubt. Hikari said nonchalantly. Looks like our little girl is broken. This just won't do, B-R-O-K-E-N, you understand? What to do, la 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 la. Where the hell are you calling from? I yelled furiously. Oh, now, no need to be so loud. My ears hurt. You happy now? Came the amused reply. Where the hell are you calling from? I yelled even more loudly. Oh, for Pete's sake, Hikari cut in coolly. You should know. Because if we couldn't find her, what fun would that be? I retorted thickly. I'm going to kill you. Well, guys, I'm going to end it here. And, yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.